Hello, dog lovers. Welcome to Have Dog Will Travel. I'm Josh Henry.
And I'm Christy Vaughn. And welcome to episode 2.
So last week, Stella Rose had her 20-month birthday. and Christy and I had a couple days off, so we decided we were going to celebrate and go visit some friends in Florida. And so we booked a little trip.
Yeah, a little birthday trip for Stella Rose.
Yeah.
For her 20-month birthday.
Right. And we thought it'd be really cool to give her first experience on a boat. So today we are here with the owners of Wild Coast Charters, Christina Reynolds and Jeremy Harrison. Hi, guys.
How are you?
We're great. Thanks for being here. Thanks for coming on the podcast. We had a great trip on the water with you guys and Stella.
Sure did. I think Stella had the best time, actually.
I think Stella had the time of her life.
She did. It was the second best day of her life. Aww. First best day was when she met her daddy.
Oh. So tell us a bit about Wild Coast Charters. You know, what you do, how this came about, where this come from.
Sure. Oh my gosh. Wild Coast Charters is really just evolved from our love of all things adventure in the water. And although I am a sailor, relocating here to beautiful Crystal River in Florida, we thought the wise thing to do would be to get a pontoon boat. And so somewhere along the way, we were pretty captivated by all the sunsets that we've been able to experience here in just a few short months, and we thought we'd really like to share that with other folks.
See, the captain and the eloquent one.
And you are a legit captain, right? You have to have a captain's license, I guess.
I am a legit captain.
Right. Well, I feel like some people just say that. They're like, I'm the one that drives the boat, so I'm a captain. But you're
I'm a 50-ton master, so with the Coast Guard, yeah.
Nice.
So,
Oh, that's awesome.
All right, I have a question for the captain. What's the number one thing you think people should know when they want to bring their dog on your boat? So let's say they call you up and they ask if they can bring their dog, and you say yes.
Okay.
What would you tell them ahead of time?
Okay. I would probably tell them know what sort of boat it is before you look to book, with that particular charter company. I think, some boats are really well suited for dogs and maybe some aren't. We're really lucky that we have a tri-hull pontoon. It's a very flat, stable deck. And we actually have fencing all the way around the boat. So it's perfect for dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we had a friend in the Caribbean whose dog lived aboard with him, and he had a trawler. And so there was just a lot of walkway space. It just seemed to really work well.
Brady, we'll give Brady a shout out since the Patriots are going to the Super Bowl this year. Brady's a big Patriots fan. I think I would add that, I think aside from understanding the environment that your dog's coming into, having an honest understanding of your dog's behavioral patterns. If your dog tends to get a little skittish and jump around and run around a lot and not be able to be calm in those kinds of situations, then it might not be the right place for your dog. Mm-hmm. But I think that's a conversation that can be had and discuss, just what the environment's going to look like and what you're going to expect, and then understand, what you might need to bring along to help him have the best time, he or she have the best time possible.
That's a great note. And I think a lot of people need to take an honest, objective look at their dog, because a lot of people, like people are about their kids, might be somewhat delusional about their dog's behavioral tendencies or whatever. So, that's a great point.
I think this might be a good time to just touch on safety as well, because there's a misconception that every dog can swim.
Right.
And that's not true. Being the mom of 2 French Bulldogs, I know for a fact that French Bulldogs can't swim, so I've never tried to make them swim other than with a life jacket on. Mm-hmm. So is that something you would recommend all dogs have, is some type of flotation device?
And we would actually, that would be a requirement for a dog aboard on our boat. Just from a safety perspective, anytime you're boarding, there should always be life jackets for all of the humans.
Sure.
And I think that just carries through with the dogs as well. And not something that's maybe like just cute and fashiony and tiny little thin neoprene, but something that's been, perhaps has a higher safety rating. And so, and something that's going to be comfortable for the animal that they can wear for the trip. So
Great.
Yeah, we got one for Stella from a company called Marine Life. And one of the cool things about it was it had 2 heavy-duty handles on the top of it. So if she jumped in, you can just reach down and grab her real easily and pull her straight out.
Right.
So another question that for either or both of you, why is it important to you that people be allowed to bring their dogs on your boat?
I'll go with this one then, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that like anything, the boat is a great place to spend the day, a sunset in our case. And I think just like you like to bring your friends and your family, I think a dog is a part of your family, and I think it's a great experience. For us here, especially along the coast, and there's so much marine life and wildlife along the coastal edges that dogs just have all the smells, and they love it. Stella's nose never stopped twitching, and I just think it's a wonderful environment for them to get out in and see, just like it is for mom and dad.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it's a fun adventure, and I mean, she just looks so happy.
She was. And as we talked about in the previous episode, the more if you're going to travel with your dog, the more you expose them to, the more comfortable they're going to be in new situations, and the easier it's going to be for them, long term, the more you travel with them.
So, a question for both of you. What is your favorite thing about dogs?
Oh my God. I'm always looking for the snuggle factor. I just, anybody, that's soft and wants to cuddle with me in bed is going to be a win.
I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Is that bad?
I don't think
No,
so.
I don't think
You
it's
seem
bad
pretty
at all.
soft and cuddly, Jeremy.
Did you just call me fat?
No, I would never say anything like that.
All right, gentlemen, no fat shaming on the show.
You stole my answer. I like the cuddling, especially. Stella here is such a cuddler. As a matter of fact, she and I had a discussion this morning over coffee, and I had to explain to her that she does have to. She has to go home. I can't keep her as much as I'd like. You noticed that she was not with you.
I thought we were just going to steal her when they weren't looking.
So, notes to any potential customers: the folks at Wild Coast Charter might try to steal your dog.
Maybe. Only if they cuddle.
Yeah,
Yes.
if they're big cuddlers. Any dog stories? They don't have to be boat specific or anything. Just any great dog stories you like to share, or anything that comes to mind.
Well, I think we were both very partial to Brady, who was a good friend of ours, dog, that lives on his boat, Friendship. And Brady was just the best dog ever. Oh my gosh, he was, I don't know.
Yeah, his owner, Jimmy, lived on his boat just a few over from us on sailing vessel Friendship. And
sorry, for clarification, you guys were living on your boat in the Virgin Islands at the time, right?
Yes, correct. We had a 43-foot catamaran named sailing vessel Sapphire, and we were based in St. Thomas, in the U.S. Virgin Islands. And you'd see Jimmy coming in his dinghy, and there right at the bow, just as prominent as could be, would be Brady, just loving the ride. And there would be times we would go around the corner to Honeymoon Beach, and one day Jimmy and I were standing up, kind of having a hamburger, and he said, "Watch this." And he said, "Brady, come here." So Brady comes running from wherever he was on the beach, and he said, "Brady, where are the fish?" And Brady just beelined it for the edge of the water and just stood there looking in the water and watching all the fish run around.
And so that dog lived full-time on a boat?
Full-time on a boat, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I have a question about that, actually. I've spent a lot of time on boats, but never so much with a dog.
Right.
Those people who live on boats with dogs, can you talk a little bit about that? Like, how does that work with going to the bathroom? I think a lot of people, and exercise too. I think a lot of people are curious about that. It's a lifestyle for both the humans and the dogs. And so how do they train them a certain way?
I think they do, and I have a great story for that as well. We'd gone to this little cove that we like quite a bit, Christmas Cove, and they have a boat that you can go up to and get pizza called Pizza Pie. And it's just the best. And Christina and I had just pulled in that day, and there was another catamaran in front of us, and I noticed that they had a Weimar puppy on the boat, already fairly large, right? And in my mind, I kind of knowing that Weimars just need lots of exercise, and at first I was kind of upset by it because I didn't understand how that dog was getting any kind of exercise, and then its owners put on their fins and jumped in the water, and the dog was just sitting right there on the back of the boat on the transom, just whining at him. And I thought, well, now they're just going to leave the dog. And then the next thing I know, the guy slaps the water, dog jumps in the water with them and snorkels all the way around this little island that's right there and just had the time of his life. And I thought, well, that's good exercise. So
that's great.
It's a good example of a dog who can swim. Now,
right.
Dogs who can't, or maybe are new to the water.
Right.
I know even Brady, who loved the water, Jimmy made sure to take daily trips to shore so that he could walk the dog and really get up and get into some other things,
right.
into nature.
I think we lived out in a mooring field, so it's not one of those things where the dog could just hop on the deck and just walk around. But I think the other great thing about a boat is, and it's true for humans as well, is like you're always in motion. So even though it's a small space, the dog is almost always constantly exercising as it's moving about. So yeah. I do think it's extremely important to set aside that time to go on land daily.
Sure.
Well, I mean, I hate to ask, the potty question, but it's
sure.
So
no,
do you have to get up?
Right, yeah,
do you
absolutely.
have to get up and and dinghy the dog to shore, or
right.
is there some sort of boat-friendly solution for that you might be aware of?
I think I think it could be a combination of what works with your family. I know of at least one boater who trained his dog to use the head. So.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Awesome.
Okay.
But I think for the most part, you're probably looking into going to shore at least,
right.
At least twice a day. So to do that. So.
Well, I'm sure there's solutions too. At least when the dog has to go number one for people that have an apartment or whatever, and it's not they don't have a yard,
it's
like the little fake grass
pads.
things.
Yeah, like the
right,
fake grass, and we've seen those. Yeah,
Yep.
more with cats maybe, but yeah, that's an option as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And we've seen it all. We've seen people with dogs, with many cats. There was one guy that had a squirrel.
Oh yeah, and Deb had her seagull.
Deb had seagulls that came to visit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys also mentioned that you're hoping to get a dog. You want to talk about what kind of dog you're thinking about getting and why you chose that one?
Wow. Okay. We're both really in love with Irish Terriers at the moment, and that's kind of been going back and forth for obviously the last 4 years. Because we knew that our boating, life was coming up, and we didn't know if we could take and exist with, a dog on board. And so we thought we're going to postpone, adding to our family. And now that we're back on land full time, we've been talking a lot about it. And we both love Irish Terriers. So.
Yeah.
And what brought you to that breed?
We had been going back and forth, and for me, like I said, I had in the past had always really liked Weimars and thought that was a really cool dog. Mm-hmm. And then some friends of ours got a cockapoo named Big Booty Ham Sandwich. Sandwich, yeah. Let me make sure I enunciate correctly.
Wow.
They allowed the children, my godkids, to name the dog, and that's what they came up with.
Wow.
And Booty is a cockapoo.
Booty for short.
Booty. I call her Booty. Yeah,
Booty for short, of course.
Yeah, so she's a cockapoo and looks like a little stuffed animal. Mm-hmm. When we were kind of looking at dogs on Instagram and kind of seeing what we thought was cute and what might work for us, and somewhere along that line, an Irish Terrier popped up, and I thought. And I think he was wearing glasses or something, which always gets me. And I thought, well, that's I didn't think about that.
It's a very smart dog.
Yeah.
But I think also they're fairly, you know, they don't have a lot of allergy.
Hypoallergenic.
Yeah, yes,
yeah.
thank you.
Nice,
Yes.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, which was a big appeal for us, you know, that way, just like whoever we might have visiting, you know, we're like, oh. And I think that was true of the cockapoos as well. And so it sort of inspired us to be at one of the top items in our search list. So, if
Makes
you will.
sense.
Yeah.
Are they good swimmers? Do you happen to? Do you have to...
They're great. They're great water
They're
dogs.
good water
yours
dogs.
will be.
Yes. They are.
Yeah.
Nice.
Must love water.
I'm sure it will have some form of pirate sounding name.
Of course. I would be
High
disappointed if it didn't.
All the commands you give it could be, like a pirate version of whatever,
Right.
however a pirate
Yes.
would say sit and roll over or whatever. All right, guys. Anything else you'd like to add? Christy, anything else you want to ask or know?
Just tell us how we can find you and how potential guests can find you online.
Sure, yeah. Wildcoastcharters.com is our website, and that link goes straight to us. So we're not some big company; it's just the two of us. And I think we learned when we were in the Caribbean how much fun it is to share our boat with people and dogs, and so we're really just excited for the opportunity to do that here.
Yeah.
So
Social media wise, you'll be able to find us at Wild Coast Charters on Instagram, and the same for Facebook, which will be up shortly.
And we can confirm they are amazing hosts.
Absolutely.
The food was amazing. They were so accommodating, and obviously Stella had the best time of her life. So,
yay!
Thank you guys. It was a
great
blast
day.
to have you
Thank
guys.
you.
Hey, thank you guys. That was really great. We really appreciate you coming and talking to us and the amazing trip. You want to close us out?
So remember, if you want to bring Fido on a trip, but you're worried it might all unravel,
Just listen to us. Have dog, will travel.